Sir, mic is off for A division.
Sir, your mic is off.
Hello, sir.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Oh, okay. Now I started mic. Okay. I hope that you are you getting my voice?
Yes, sir. Now it's audible.
Yes, sir. Now getting.
Yes, please.
Yes, sir. Now you are audible.
Oh, actually, then okay. From the beginning, I was not audible.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, actually, I forgot to start my. You could have sent me message, but anyway. So this is the problem of online teaching. Anyway, I'll
Sir,
start.
I have sent you messages.
Yeah, but I haven't seen because my full screen was my presentation, and then I was disconnecting. I was getting a call from somebody, and then I was just disconnecting that call, not to disturb. But finally, I took that one.
Sir, I was calling you just to remind you to.
Okay. Anyway, I'll start it again if you have not heard because yeah, mic was off. So I'll start it again, please. Because today is not a good day. Anyway, so I'll start from the beginning. Okay, so today we will be studying the block diagram reduction technique. Now, block diagram reduction technique is basically used to find out the overall transfer function of a complicated system and so on. Like, for example, you might have studied this one. In second year, you might have studied a radio receiver in which there are several blocks available. Like, for example, your first block is antenna, then output of antenna is given to the RF amplifier, output of RF amplifier is given to the mixer, local oscillator is there, then IF amplifier is there, and power amplifier is there, and finally you get the output speaker. All right, so this is the block diagram of this one. And all those blocks are interconnected to each other. Output of one block is given as an input to the second, and output of second block is given as an input to the third, and so on. So it is interdependency and so on. Now, we'd like to find out the overall transfer function of a complicated system by using block diagram. So what is basically a block? A block will give the operation, what kind of operation is going on. Like, for example, if you have an integrator, so integrator block will integrate the input signal. Like, for example, if I have given X as an input, then output will be Y, and Y will be the integration of X. Or if the derivative is operation, and then we are representing that block as a derivative block. So when you are giving the input X, so that output will be the derivative of X. So block diagram is a shorthand pictorial representation of the cause and effect relationship. Means basically input is cause and output is basically effect, right? So and then there will be one input and one output. So here you can see that the simplest form of block diagram is like this. So you have input X and your output is Y, and this inside this block, this operation, mathematical operation is given, or some function is there, or some element is there, or like that. So here, for your understanding purpose, this mathematical operation is d by dt. Now, what is the relation between Y and X? So y will be basically on x, this operation will be done, that is d by dt. So dx by dt will be the output of this block, and that output of block, this block is nothing but the y. So y is equal to dx by dt. So the simplest form of block diagram is a single block with one input and one output, and the inside that block generally mathematical operation or some element name is given, and then generally arrow indicate the direction of the signal flowing. So here signal is flowing from left to right, and then also here from left to right. So this block diagram is giving a relation between y and x. So y is equal to dx by dt, right? Now in a block diagram, overall block diagram, you have to use several, like for example, you have to do several operations, like you have to take the signal, or you have to do the addition of two signals, or you have to do the subtraction of two signals, and so on. So you have to use, for addition or subtraction, you have to use the summing point, and for taking the signal from any point, you have to use the take-up point, and so on. So summing point in the block diagram is represented with the circle. So like this, suppose for example, there are two signals, one x is signal and another y is signal. So now the sign of this signal is plus and plus, so definitely your output will be x plus y. Or suppose for example there is the difference, so difference operation is this x, y will be subtracted from x, so your output will be equal to x minus y. So for this summing point, input may be many, but your output is only one. Here also difference point, your input may be many. See that there may be third input like the x plus y plus z, or x minus y minus z, or like that, but your output is only one. So there may be any number. So this is called as the summing point. Number of inputs may be more, but output is only one, right? I hope that you have understood what is by summing point in the block diagram. Simple block. And then see that this is the, like for example, you have three input in the summing point. So x is one input and y is another input and z is third input. So your output will be the summation of this one. Whereas this, see that here, x is having plus sign and y is having minus sign, so your output will be x minus y. Here x is plus, y is plus, z is plus, so x plus y plus z will be the output, right? Now see that generally this is represented with a cross inside that circle, and then here generally we write the symbol or basically sign of that signal, right? Now the what are the basically different components which are used in block diagram representation in linear time invariant system? So the components are signal, then system or block, then third one is summing point, and fourth one is pickup point or take-up point, so where we are going to take the signal. So basically this is signal, you know that input is the signal, output is the signal, and then between two blocks there will be a signal. Then the block represents the function, what kind of function will be done or operation will be done on that signal, so that will be represented by the block. And sometimes you have to add two signals, or you have to subtract two signals, or many more signals, and so on, so that will be represented by the summing point. Sometimes you have to take up the signal and give that signal to as an input somewhere, and so on, so that is called as the pickup point or take-up point. So overall in the block diagram representation there are four things. One is signal, another one is block, third one is summing point, and fourth one is take-up point. Okay, now see that this is the signal represented. See, R of S is the signal whose direction is from left to right. C of S is the signal whose direction is from left to right. So this is a signal which I am representing. And then system is that, see that this is the block whose transfer function is, individual transfer function is Z of S. And it has the input R of S and output is C of S. So C of S will be equal to R of S into G of S, right? So this is called, this is the relation between C of S and R of S, and G of S is the individual transfer function of this individual block. Now, summing point, as I said that summing point is represented by circle with cross okay, inside it, and then all those signals are okay, having their sign. Like for example, R1 is one input, R2 is second input, R3 is third input, and C of S is the output. Now see that R1 is having positive sign, R2 is having positive sign, and R3 is having minus sign. So what will be the output C of S? So that will be just addition of this signal. So R1 plus R2 and Y minus, because this signal is minus signal, so minus R3 obvious. So this is called as the summing point, which is generally used in block diagram representation. So signals, blocks, and summing point. And then take up points means basically I can take the signal from this one and give input to some other block, or to second block or third block. So this point is called as the take up point, where you are going to pick up the signal or take up the signal and so on. So this is called the pick up point or take up point. So I hope that you have understood what are the different terminologies which are used in the block diagram representation, right? Now, take up point where basically you can distribute the signal or you can take up the signal. So in order to have the same signal or variable be an input to more than one block or summing point, a take up point is used. Means basically when you would like to give this signal at multiple places, then you can use the take up point. So distribute the signal input under undimnished to several output points. So this permits the signal to proceed unaltered along several different paths to serve several destinations and so on, right? So this is the take up point symbol. Now, for example, you'd like to construct this equation with the help of block diagram. So consider the following equation in which now which are the input. Basically input is x1, x2, and x3, and what are the variables? So these are input variables, where is basically okay, x1, x2, and x3, and a1, a2 are the general coefficients or mathematical operations. Now here mathematical equation x3 depends upon x1, depends upon x2, and also some constant phi u. So x3 is equal to a1 x1 plus a2 x2 minus phi u. So how do you represent that one? So this can be represented like for example, this a1 x1 is one signal which is added with this summing point. Then a2 x2 is another signal which is added, and then minus phi u is okay, subtracted from this one. So by using summing point, we can represent this one. So your x3 will be just summation of a1 x1 plus a2 x2 minus phi u. So in this way, this summing point, by using summing point, we can represent this mathematical equation. I hope that you have understood this one. Now, see that if single block is there and having transfer function equal to a1, then output will be equal to this signal multiplied by the transfer function in this one. So a1 x1 will be the output, a1 x1. Now, here you can also represent, like for example, you have a1, this one, okay, in detail. If you would like to represent the same equation, so x1 is the input, x2 is another input, and phi u is third input. So a1, this x1 is multiplied by a1, so your output here will be equal to a1 x1. Earlier we have directly considered this as a a1 x1, but if you want to see the in general detail, so x1 is the input, and then a1 is the block gain or like that. So this will be multiplied with x1, so your output will be a1 x1. Then x2 is input, then a2 is another gain, so a2 x2 will be the output of this one, and then phi u. So this summing point output will be equal, x3 will be equal to this signal, summation of this signal plus this one and minus this one. So this mathematical equation can be represented with the block diagram like this way, right? Now consider this example. How do you represent this mathematical operation with the block diagram? So see that xn is the output, so your output is xn, and this is the summation of how many signals? One, this is one signal, another signal, and this is nth signal. So this signal x1 is multiplied by a1, so x1 is multiplied by a1, you get the a1 x1 So this is given as one input to the summing point. Then A2 is multiplied with X2. So our X2 is multiplied with A2. So you got A2, X2, and so on. So dot, dot, dot. And then Xn minus 1 is multiplied by A1, An minus 1. So you'll get this signal. So it is added, and finally you get the Xn. So in that way, you can represent the mathematical equation with the help of block diagram. And then overall, we can find out the transfer function by reduction of the block diagram, and so on. Now, this is another, how do you represent this, these examples? So basically, there should be one, this is the gain of one block, then another operation is d by dt, and then this is the gain of another block, and then this integration operation is there, and so on. So we'll see how do you implement this one. See that generally we have to, x2 will be the output, then x1 we are going to take it multiplied by with a1, and then after that d by dt operation will be there, and then output will be given to the summing point. Similarly, x1 will take the x1 from takeoff point and multiply by with 1 by b, and then also one integration operation will be there, and then it will be added in the summing point. So that will give the output. I hope that you can do this one just for your practice and so on. So the topologies we will examine, some common topologies for interconnecting the subsystems and derive the single transfer function representation for each of them. So if multiple blocks are connected together and that forms complete system, so how to find out the overall transfer function, that is the big challenge. And by using block diagram reduction techniques, we can do it very easily and so on. So these common topologies will form the basis for reducing the more complicated system into a single block diagram, and that will give the overall transfer function of the system. Now, like for example, if two systems are connected in cascade, or multiple systems are connected in cascade, like block 1 is there whose transfer function is G1, another block is there whose transfer function is G2, nth block is there whose transfer function is Gn, and if input is X, okay, or if all those blocks are connected in cascade or series, what will be the overall transfer function? So if two or more blocks are connected in cascade, then overall transfer function will be just multiplication of individual transfer function. So if n components or n blocks are with a transfer function G1, G2 up to Gn are connected in cascade, then equivalent you can represent the overall all those block diagrams into a single block, having the transfer function G is equal to multiplication of all. So Z1 multiplied by Z2 multiplied by Z3 multiplied by Zn, and which is nothing but the product of that. This is nothing but the product, product of G1, G2, G3. So we can represent mathematically like this. So if two or more blocks are connected in cascade, their overall transfer function will be just multiplication of individual transfer function. So this is the example. Like for example, Z1 is E is the input, and G1 and G2, these are the two blocks which are connected in cascade. Now what will be the output M? M will be equal to E multiplied by G1. Now what will the output C? So that will be equal to E into Z1 multiplied by Z2. So that will be the output C, because just you are taking this signal is multiplied with this one, and this is the output. So this M is nothing but E into Z1, and this M is given as an input to J2. So this will get multiplied with this J2. So M G1 J2 will be the output as a C. So if two blocks are connected in cascade, then equivalent will be Z1 Z2. So this will be, see that the transfer function will be same, E into Z1 J2 here also E into Z1 Z2. So when two or more blocks are connected in cascade, then overall transfer function means these two, instead of these two blocks, we can represent into a single block having transfer function equal to multiplication of individual transfer function. So multiplication of transfer function is commutative, that is Zi into Zj is equal to Zj into Zi. So even if you connect this Z2 here or G1 here, does not matter, overall transfer function will remain same. So it is a commutative operation, right? Now see that here there are three blocks. Z1 is one block, Z2 is another block, Z3 is a third block. So what will be the overall transfer function? Can we reduce these three blocks into a single block? Yes, we can reduce that one. And what we have to do, we have to just take the product of all individual transfer function. So this block diagram or three blocks can be represented into a single block having transfer function equal to the product of z1, z2, z3. So this is nothing but z3, z2, z1. So this is equivalent to this one. So figure B is equivalent to figure A. So I hope that you have understood the first rule of block diagram reduction. When two or more blocks are connected in cascade, then overall transfer function will be the multiplication of individual transfer function, right? Right. Now, second rule, which is used in block diagram reduction technique, is when two or more blocks are connected in parallel. See that this block Z1 and J2 are connected in parallel. See that, this R of S is the same signal which is given as an input to R1 and G1, and then R of S same signal is given as an input to G2 of S. So this is one system, this is another system. So parallel system, they are parallel to each other, and then finally this one. So if two or more blocks are connected in parallel, then that can be also reduced into a single block by just doing the algebraic summation of these two. So here algebraic, this is also plus, this is also plus, this will be Z1 plus Z2. So this can be reduced into a single block and having transfer function equal to Z1 plus Z2. If it would have been minus sign, then this will be G1 minus G2. So parallel subsystems have a common input. So this is the common input. When you can say the parallel system, if the input is common and output is also formed by algebraic summation. So here output is formed by algebraic summation and input is common, then that system is considered as a parallel input, right? And the signal flow, signal direction is also from same direction. So this is from left to right, this is also from left to right, and so on. Okay, so these two blocks are connected in parallel. So when two or more blocks are connected in parallel, their overall transfer function will be simple algebraic summation of the individual this one. Now see that this is Z1, J2, and J3. Same common input is given, and then output is just summation of that one. So this can be reduced. This whole complicated block diagram can be reduced into a single block having transfer function equal to algebraic summation of this one. So Z1 plus or minus, Z2 plus or minus, Z3. Okay, so that R of S will be the input for this one, and then this block diagram can be reduced into a single block having this transfer function, and this will be the output. So this is your original diagram. This can be reduced into a single block diagram having transfer function equal to algebraic summation. So when two or more blocks are connected in parallel, then that can be reduced into a single block by just doing the algebraic summation of the block diagram, right? Now, the feedback form. So if, like, for example, when we can say the feedback is there, so this R of S is there, and now see that one block is having signal from left to right, and another block is having signal from left to right to left. So this Z1 and Z2 are connected in feedback loop. Okay, so this can be also reduced into a single block, and that transfer function will be equal to Z1 divided by Z1 1 minus Z1 Z2. So this can be reduced as into a single block, Z1 of S divided by 1 minus. So this sign is basically, if it is minus sign, then it will be plus 1 plus Z1 G2. And if this is plus sign, then G1 divided by G1 minus Z2 of S. So the third topology in the feedback form is, let us derive the transfer function, represents the system from input to output, and typical feedback system is shown in figure. Okay, so the system is said to be negative feedback. Now this is negative feedback, okay, because your sign is negative, and if it is positive, then it is called as the positive feedback, right? If sign is positive, then it is called as the positive feedback. So see that here this is the simple feedback signal, and then here you have a complicated system that can be reduced into a single one. So we'll study all those things in detail and so on, right? So overall, we have seen the topology which are used, or terminologies which are used in block diagram reduction. Actual rules for block diagram reduction we'll study in our next lecture. So today we'll stop here. Thank you very much. If you have any doubt, you can ask freely.